Ever wondered what happens when Karen's public disturbance leads to her arrest? Watch as tensions boil over in this gripping video. Can her confrontational behavior stand up to the law? Let's start with this entitled woman who turns restaurant complaints into arrest. On August 17, 2022 in Florida, police were called to remove a woman who was causing a disturbance at a restaurant. The video begins with restaurant staff and eventually police officers asking the woman to leave the premises due to her disruptive behavior.
Okay, the manager of this establishment has asked you to leave the business. Now you need to turn and walk out the door.
This initial interaction sets the stage for what follows, highlighting the restaurant's right to refuse service and the woman's obligation to comply with their request. Legally, private establishments have the authority to ask individuals to leave for disruptive behavior or any other reason that does not violate anti-discrimination laws. Despite being repeatedly asked to leave, the woman adamantly refuses and engages in arguments with both restaurant staff and police officers.
The manager of this business is an idiot.
That may be, but you gotta go right now. Turn around and start walking there. Turn around.
This interaction underscores the escalation from a civil matter, trespassing, to a potential criminal offense, resisting arrest, due to her non-compliance. Legally, refusal to leave private property upon being asked can constitute trespassing, which justifies police intervention to enforce the law. As tensions escalate, the woman physically engages with the police officers, attempting to push past them.
Andrews, you're under arrest. Put your hands behind your back. You're under arrest. Hands behind your back.
This physical interaction escalates the situation from a verbal disagreement to a physical confrontation, justifying the officer's actions to arrest her for resisting arrest.
Stop resisting.
Legally, resisting arrest involves any attempt to hinder or prevent an officer from performing their duties lawfully. Throughout the arrest process, the woman vocally protests her treatment, claiming unfairness and invoking her rights.
Are you kidding me? The police officer who put handcuffs on me and twisted my arm because I complained about the wait staff. No, I don't. I don't feel safe here, and I want to be in a public place.
This interaction highlights the individual's right to protest and express dissatisfaction with police actions, although it does not negate the legal grounds for her arrest.
You're not gonna push me. You're not gonna prod me. You're not gonna twist my fucking arm like you are now.
Just relax.
What kind of man are you?
Legally, officers are required to use reasonable force to effect an arrest when necessary, and verbal protests do not exempt individuals from lawful detention if they have committed an offense.
Take it easy. Get off me! Get off me! Get off me! Help me!
She faced charges of trespassing after being warned and resisting or obstructing without using physical force. Under Florida law, trespassing penalties can vary depending on the circumstances and the specific offense. For trespassing in structure or conveyance as stated in Florida Statute 810.08, this is a misdemeanor offense punishable by up to 60 days in jail and a fine of up to $500. And for trespassing on property, other than structure or conveyance covered in Florida Statute 810.09, this offense is also a misdemeanor, with penalties of up to 30 days in jail and a fine of up to $500. However, this is not the worst case you're going to witness. Just wait until you see the next one, where a woman gets kicked out of a ritzy hotel and goes crazy. On October 14th, 2023, a hotel called police when they couldn't get rid of a guest who was causing a disturbance.
She was like cursing at gas, almost fell like She go over there, or she just go over here. I grabbed her. We're just trying to verify.
From the outset, it's clear she's agitated and resistant to complying with requests to leave the premises.
Don't do it! Don't fucking do it!
The initial interaction involves police officers attempting to verify the woman's guest status at the hotel.
How are you? You having too much of a good time?
Despite her having a bracelet indicating she might be a guest, she refuses to cooperate and becomes increasingly confrontational.
If I see any more people surrounding this place, and also, like, why are you surrounding me? Like, I've done nothing wrong, and like you're watching like f***ing people, like, so
This interaction sets the tone for escalating tensions as she repeatedly questions why she is being asked to leave.
Wait, the reason is they don't want me on the property.
Where's Jerry at?
Legally, private property owners, such as hotels, have the right to refuse service and remove individuals who disrupt the peace or refuse to comply with their policies, even if they are guests. The officer's role initially is to ascertain the situation and attempt to peacefully resolve it. As the situation progresses, the woman adamantly refuses to leave, arguing that she has done nothing wrong.
I want you off the property, so leave the property.
Give me a
I told you.
reason.
I just told you. You gotta get off the property.
No, you did
I
not.
did.
She challenges the officer's authority and demands explanations for why she is being asked to leave. Her behavior becomes more erratic, displaying signs of defiance and confusion. Her refusal to leave, despite being asked by both hotel staff and law enforcement, escalates the situation. Legally, once asked to leave private property, failure to comply can constitute trespassing, which justifies law enforcement intervention to enforce the property owner's rights. The video captures a physical confrontation where officers attempt to physically remove her from the premises.
Come on.
Don't push me. Across this fucking street.
She resists aggressively, resulting in a struggle that necessitates forceful restraint.
Excuse me.
Ow!
You fucking hit me.
Ow!
The woman continues to resist arrest vehemently, leading to her being forcibly restrained and eventually taken into custody.
Now you can go to jail. Quicker.
From a legal perspective, officers are permitted to use reasonable force to effectuate an arrest when met with resistance.
Stop! Stop!
The escalation to physical force appears justified, given her persistent resistance and escalating aggression towards law enforcement.
Get up!
Chen and Nai. The suspect faced charges for several crimes, including felony battery on law enforcement. She entered a plea of not guilty, and her case is still in progress. It wasn't a straightforward case, but not the worst either. Brace yourself for the next story. A woman's obnoxious behavior leads to assaulting a neighbor's kid and facing serious consequences. On July 10th, 2023, Maria, the neighbor, alleges that a juvenile vandalized her car, which escalated into a confrontation at her apartment door.
What can I do for you?
She claims the juvenile entered her apartment and threatened her, leading her to defend herself.
I was here and that little boy came in my house and put his fist up to me. He was like this, okay? And I'm not gonna let no little boy disrespect me. I don't care how old they are. He came knocking on my door.
For no reason.
Right? For no reason.
From a legal perspective, Maria's assertion of self-defense hinges on whether she reasonably believed she was in imminent danger of unlawful force.
He came outside the house, knocked on my door, and he came in my house and started threatening me and talking shit to me.
However, the severity of her response, particularly if the juvenile posed no immediate threat, could influence how her actions are perceived under the law.
But I don't know what's going on, but someone vandalized my car. You want to see where they vandalized my car?
You can see the piece.
Look, they took my piece off of my damn car, they scratched my car, and I'm supposed to live with it.
The escalation from alleged vandalism to physical confrontation raises questions of proportionality and justification. As police intervene, the situation escalates further when Maria refuses to comply with their commands, resulting in her detainment for resisting arrest.
No, you're not going to be touching me.
Oh,
You're
so
not
you
going
don't have
to
to
touch
touch
me.
me like
You don't
that. I'll
touch me.
record you
You
right
tell me
now.
why I'm
I'll
being detained
record
first. B, tell me why I'm being detained.
Oh.
From a legal standpoint, officers are authorized to use reasonable force to effectuate an arrest if an individual actively resists or obstructs them.
Put your hands
I'm
behind your back.
recording. No, tell me why I'm
Put
being
your hands
detained.
behind your
No,
back.
that. You tell me why I'm being
Mom, calm
detained.
down.
Maria's refusal to cooperate and her verbal defiance complicate the situation, potentially justifying the officer's use of force, including the deployment of a taser, if they perceived her actions as escalating to a point where physical control was necessary for safety and control.
Back up.
Oh my God.
Back up. Put your hands behind your back now. Put your hands behind your back now.
Ultimately, the victim's father decides not to press charges against Maria for the initial assault allegation, narrowing the legal focus to her resistance to arrest charge. Maria pleads guilty to resisting an officer with violence, resulting in a sentencing of 24 months probation, community service, and a fine. This outcome underscores the legal principle that resisting arrest, regardless of the underlying circumstances, is a separate offense punishable by law. Maria's plea and sentencing highlight the consequences of disregarding lawful commands from law enforcement, emphasizing the importance of compliance during police interactions to avoid escalating situations unnecessarily.
Back away from my patrol car. I'm not going to give you one more warning, or you're going to go under. You're going to get under arrest too.
That woman and her daughter are both the type of neighbors you pray you don't get. Living next to individuals who resort to conflict rather than cooperation can lead to constant stress and conflict resolution efforts. All right, fellas, what do you think? Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more interesting and educational contents in the future. Thanks for your support.